Do you think I can get Andrew Zarian?
Andrew Zarian, have you been in nice job bringing him on right as he coughs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Have you been in a pit, Andrew Zarian?
No, but I've been close to one.
That doesn't count. Close only counts.
I've been close. I saw what was going on, and it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I think it was at Jones Beach at Dysfunctional Family Picnic. I think Disturbed was performing. And...
Oh, Disturbed. Disturbed's coming here. We should go to Disturbed and just get in the pit, baby.
I've gotten kicked in the face by a band member jumping into the crowd in the pit.
She's been kicked in the face by a band member jumping into the crowd.
Oh, yeah. No, that's inevitable.
Yeah. That doesn't sound very fun, love. Yeah.
Anyway.
Hi, Andrew Zarian. Good to see you again, buddy.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello, Joel. Hello, Jeremy.
Hello.
So you're dropping scoops, are you?
A little bit, a couple today. I'm going to drop a couple today.
Oh my goodness! Well, the first one,
is
the pre-buys for All In.
Mm-hmm.
What's
over 90,000 domestic? I think that's fantastic. That's the high. I think that's their highest number ever, but I can't. I'm not too sure.
But specifically pre-buy domestic. We don't want people getting the 205 from All Out 2021, getting them confused with that.
That the 205 was a combined number, right?
I believe so.
And I think it was like 160,000 domestic, and then the rest was it. I can't remember how the breakdown worked. Brandon Thurston, the numbers guy, he's the one that would know.
Yeah, and he get a follow-up too in any presser you ask him about.
Well, I heard that hysterical question to Tony. And his follow-up to Tony yesterday about how if there's going to be an audit, and Tony's response of what would WWE do, and he said they would count the ushers and ticket takers.
I respect that Thurston gave like a legit answer of like, they'd count the ushers and the ticket takers and the security and all that stuff. And if Thurston's a professional, I would have just been like they'd probably just lie. And
Thurston's the best. He really is remarkable at the breakdown of the numbers. I talk to him regularly, and it's actually interesting how, like, the last couple of years, like between Brandon Thurston and like WrestleTix, these were numbers that were gate kept for a long, long time. You had to wait, till a newsletter put it out, or you got an official statement from the company. Now it's it's actually fascinating to me because I love the number stuff. That's my thing. I like the business end of this.
That's how Mookie, just got started in AEW, because it was Mookie and Thurston on WrestleNomics. And Tony was like, I need a numbers guy. I need a spreadsheet guy. And Mookie had been keeping track of that for so long that he ended up at AEW as one of the first hires.
Yeah, I think this is interesting. AEW right now, this show, I don't know. I'm not loving the card, but I also understand it's a setup show for All Out, and the timing of everything kind of affected how they're presenting it. But the fact that, they're going to have over 82,000 people in that building. The walk-ups are probably going to be astronomical. I know that they've invested a ton of money in local marketing, like an insane amount of local marketing has been going on there. And I think it's helping because you're seeing how the tickets are shifting, and there's about 100 and something tickets moving a day. That was the trend, but now it's going to probably accelerate the next couple of days. And they sold these without any, with no match announcements. The buys are coming in with, no match announcements pretty much. This wasn't all from last week. I think it's fascinating because it's a gigantic show, but I'm concerned about the momentum. Will they keep it up after this?
The way that Dynamite and Collision occurred this past week, and with the news that Tony said there will be more changes coming to the All In card, I'm a bit on the fence myself when it comes to the hype for the show. Now the big question is, and whatever the show becomes, is it going to be living up to the hype? You've got all those people there. That's great. Now the big question is going to be, will those 80,000 people plus, as of right now, 90,000 people watching at home, will they be as invested and entertained as one would hope?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. I have to say, Collision, I enjoy so much more. Even with the squash matches, it doesn't bother me. It's a faster paced show. This change over the last 2 weeks with Dynamite, 1 week they had to jam everything in. The other week, it was a little bit of fluff and storytelling. But I don't know if the balance is working, because last week's Dynamite was insane to me. I thought I was on an edible dream watching Impact from 2011.
An edible would have been good for that show because it'd slow everything down a little.
No. It was a delusional. It was that, when you take a little too many and then now you enter the nightmare zone. That's what it was.
You got to be watching it in your tub while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I did 2 weeks ago. I watched it in my tub. It's the most enjoyable of watching. So I don't know. I'm excited to watch it, man. 1:00 in the afternoon. That's right up my alley on a Sunday. But I think it's going to be a great show. How could it not be? Is it going to be an A show? Probably. Those guys are all fantastic wrestlers if they do everything the right way. Yeah. And we still have more match announcements, right? There's only 8 for the main card and 1 on the pre-show, and I know that we're going to have the Acclaimed and House of Black.
Is that going to be All In, or is that going to be at All Out?
Oh, that's a great question.
And you gotta have the Acclaimed in front of 80,000 people. They were the hottest thing in the company a year ago, and they're still super hot, super over. Like, they got to be in front of 80,000 people.
But they became that hottest thing. Not became, but their biggest rise to prominence was in Chicago at All Out.
Sure, but
Tony loves using his story.
They can have a match at All Out still. Like, you gotta put your best acts on All In, and for the most part they have, but the Acclaimed certainly have to be on All In some capacity.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that they would have to be. I think that crowd will go nuts for them. I know there's another bit of information with trios that I'm hanging on to for later. I think I told Joel. Did I tell you?
No, I think
you can tell Jeremy. Jeremy's a good boy. He could be on in scoops. I think we're getting new trios belts. I'll say that. Yeah, we're getting new trios belts.
That's every new trios champion gets new belts. That's just the thing now, because the House of Black titles were the black and silver.
Oh, the House of Black got new ones too, right?
Yeah, it's the thing. It's the gimmick. Everyone gets a new title. It's like the TNT title. Everyone just gets a new variation on the belt.
Yeah, their belts are spooky. They're silver and black instead of black and gold. That's automatically spooky belts.
Were you and I talking about a new AEW World Championship too? Because the new logo, or just the freshened up AEW logo, is on its way.
Yeah, I was told it was coming. That there was a freshened up. It's going to be the same, just a little revised with the new logo.
Right.
They have that.
Well, I can't. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there you go. That's what they meant. Just spray paint it.
For those who maybe don't pay the attention that we're talking about, it's the AEW logo used to be like cracked and like it looked like it was forged out of cement and it was old and worn. And then they re-upped to this new one that's just a straight, like it's just straight up AEW. There's no cracks in it or anything like that. The design is fresher, it's cleaner. So we're expecting to be updated.
The ECW version of the AEW belt. That's what I call it.
Yes, I see someone in the chat. Well, I saw someone saying put a turtleneck on the TNT title.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. We'll see. Are you guys excited for the show?
Yes and no. So I'm going to be watching it admittedly later because Sunday is such a cluster for me. My family's going to be in town, so I'm going to be with them all Sunday afternoon. And then I have to go down to Rebel Nightclub in Toronto because Impact is running their Resurgence show. And because I cover Impact for Fightful, I will be at the show doing my thing. So I have to watch All In like overnight or at night, basically after all the conversation is out of the way, which might make it better in some ways. So that's kind of where I'm at. Jeremy, what about you?
I'm excited for it. It's going to be a very long and busy day for me. I'd probably be more excited if it was like the only wrestling show happening that day. But the fact that I have to watch that and then cover Impact and then cover NWA, it just, my perspective changes a little bit. But I am excited for the show. I do have a personal thing going on that day as well that's going to take me away from the show for a little bit. So it is, wrestling wise, that show on its own, yes, very excited. My actual day with everything else going on in my life, personally and professionally, enthusiasm goes down a little bit.
It's an afternoon show. I can't wait. The only problem is I got to do Observer Live afterwards, so I can't get loaded in my backyard like I normally do for an afternoon show. That's the only problem.
I love the afternoon shows, by the way. I wish it was on a Saturday. I want all pay-per-views to be just like a Saturday afternoon. I'd love wrestling so much more if that was the case.
I'm really curious about that, right? Like WWE, for example, they have the money anyway. They got your money. The PLE is paid for. It's bought for. Why does the show have to be at 8 o'clock and go to midnight? I don't understand. Like, especially like a SummerSlam, right? Like the big four, you know you're going to go long with these things. Why not start it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
I'm for it. I'm completely for it. This is when, when it's college football season, when it's NFL football season, most of the games are on in the afternoon. I guess, if you're, we don't want to run against college football for, however many months of the year, but it's like, okay, people already got the money and stuff. There's still stuff on Saturday nights. It's not like you're just running completely unopposed. The big games are usually on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do like that WWE just does Saturday, even if it is 8 to 12. Like, I much prefer the Saturday shows over the Sunday shows.
Sorry, something to keep in mind.
100%.
So yeah, the Saturdays are great, but also keep in mind, like, filling a stadium at 2 p.m. in the middle of the family weekend is different from filling a stadium at 6 o'clock at night going into an 8 o'clock show. Like, it's a lot easier.
Do you think that?
I do think that.
Because I'm going to tell you something. Almost every family that I know would be more willing to go to a wrestling show or any kind of sporting event at 2 p.m. than at 8 o'clock at night.
So I get
that.
But
that could also be me.
No, but I get that too, because, younger kids are not going to make it necessarily till midnight. People will duck out before the main event. But like, also it's dealing with, I feel like, traffic in the middle of that afternoon, depending where they are going to the stadium and all that. I don't know. I just think the vibe is different when it's midday period. When it's, when it's midday here, but it's night where they're running, then obviously the vibe is fine. But yeah, it's just my feeling is like an afternoon show feels like a house show experience. And that's not a bad thing. It's just not a PLE thing or a pay-per-view thing.
I guess it's not a PLE thing. I don't know. I'm all for changing it, to be honest. Like MG and Suncast, my team, my producers, they went to SummerSlam. They didn't leave that parking lot till like 1:45 in the morning.
I believe it.
That's insane. By the time you get home, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and you're like, was it worth it?
Yeah, when we left Vegas SummerSlam, it was 9 o'clock because we were on the West Coast. That was great, but it took us another hour.
Oh my God, that was great.
Then we had to figure out
that was fantastic.
That venue.
That was fantastic. And then we got All Out the following week, and we have no idea what's going on that show.
We had 2 matches announced for a pay-per-view that takes place in about 10 days. Yeah. So they're cooking
in the United Center. In the United Center,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure WrestleTix has the numbers on All Out, and I'm sure they'll tick up big after All In. But yeah, running back-to-back weeks, it's a tricky thing, and the fact that you're basically not going to announce your top matches for that show until basically less than a week before it happens is a little worrisome, and playing with some fire there when it comes to wanting fans to attend. Like, you're putting a lot of fans that are going to have to put a lot of trust into the promotion of like, oh, it's okay, they're going to give us the matches, the big matches, because you ain't buying tickets if you're out of state and stuff. You got to fly and everything. Very tough to just buy tickets week before and make these plans a week before to want to see this match. You have to go ahead, purchase your tickets, purchase your hotel, purchase your travel and everything in the hopes that like, oh, we're going to get the match that we want to see.
Are you guys going to All Out?
No, I might go to Payback.
No.
Payback's like an hour and a half away from me. So I might go to Payback.
See, I don't, that pilgrimage that I know all these people make every year, they're not doing it this year. Last year I didn't make it to Chicago, but this year, I don't know anybody that's going.
I think for me, it's the long weekend. It's doing it on Labor Day every year just kind of negates me from even trying. It's like, I know the flights are going to be expensive. I'm happier that they're running United Center because at least the stadium, or at least the venue, is in town. It's more accessible than running out in Schaumburg or wherever they are for Dynamite. And like, again, I understand why they do it this round where they're doing Dynamite and Rampage there, but then they're running Collision at the United Center and the pay-per-view. And like, that's cool. But like, I would rather come back for Arthur Ashe because I know it's a midweek. The tickets are going to be inexpensive to fly in and out. And like, I can get just about anywhere in New York City.
Are you coming to Arthur Ashe?
I was looking at flights last night.
Come on.
Like 250
Come
bucks.
on, do it.
I could do it. It's middle of the week, kids in daycare. I don't know.
We'll go nuts. We'll go nuts that Wednesday.
I'm on the fence.
We'll go bonkers. I'm telling you. I would love it if you showed up.
That's what I'm afraid of. I have to find a day and everything.
Yeah, listen, for me, Arthur Ashe is 7 minutes away. My train. I walk 7 minutes to the train, and then I get on it, and I'm 7 minutes. Less than that. It's like 5 minutes away from me. It's unbelievable. The last time I was there, I went to the show. I left at 9:30, and I was home, and Denise was still on, and I gave her a scoop about a title that's getting announced. I think it was a TBS title. When was it? Like 2 years ago. Yeah. And the show was still not over. The show was still happening.
People wild stuff. The $440 plane ticket. Listen, I know what the prices are for tickets. I look at this shit all day. I'm saying $250 for a return to New York is okay. I can do it for $150 if I wait a little bit longer. That's all.
Yeah.
And y'all are going on a holiday. I'm going on a potentially Wednesday and coming back on a Friday morning. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the holiday pay-per-views. Same thing with Vegas. I don't want to go to Vegas that weekend.
Right.
It's too expensive.
That's the other thing. I'll look up Vegas. Yeah. Man, I love visiting Vegas for a little bit, but I do not love the idea of spending more money on my ticket than I will on anything else. Well, like my plane ticket than anything else in the entire Vegas trip. It's a little bonkers to me. I ain't flying to Hoffman Estates. Yeah. Someone tell me.
I love it. Dude, that brunch place was fantastic in Huffman Estates. I forgot the name of it. Oh my God. It was the best brunch I've ever had in my life.
Where are we going to go?
Jim Ross and Hobbs were sitting down. I've never seen a man consume so much food in my life. They were right next to me. It was the most bizarre thing. So we're sitting down. It's my wife. It's Rich.
Hold on. JR or Hobbs was the one consuming.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to out them. Okay, I don't want to out them.
We need clarity. Pronouns, pal.
So it was Hobbs, but it was so comical. Like, you know when like you see like the comically like gigantic dude with a stack of pancakes like the size of this high. That's literally what it was. I'm not even exaggerating it. I've never seen anything like that. And as we're leaving, here comes like every gigantic wrestler in that company. I'm curious if like the brunch place knew what was going on. Darby Allin walks in for a takeout order. He has the makeup on.
I was going to say, does Darby go like full makeup, just walking around?
He's like, oh, that emo kid is back.
Better give him what he wants. We don't know what he's after.
Yeah. Sting's in the car, giving him cash. My dad told me to give you this, you know? Bizarre. I mean, that was a fun trip. That was the best one.
Yes, for a pack of
that was a blast.
Lights. You still carry them?
Yeah, my dad wants a pack of Marlboro Lights.
Oh my goodness. So what do you want? You want to go to London this weekend? What do you want to do? You want to go?
No way. No way. I was invited. I had an opportunity to go. I don't want to go to London.
That's fair. If I was given a free ticket, I would consider heavily going.
I'm not a fan of being in giant stadiums. I don't get the same wrestling experience. I feel like, for me, I know for a lot of people, like being around so many people, it adds more to it. It takes away from it for me. Like, I don't want to be sitting in with 80,000 people with a seat that most likely I won't get to see everything, and I got to look at a screen the whole time. Like that's not pleasant for me. It's cool, like when you get to see everybody that you know, and like the social aspect of it is awesome. But like I personally, I'm not a fan of being in giant stadiums.
Yeah, I get that.
ZARIAN wants,
especially giant stadium. I don't love MetLife.
ZARIAN just wants every company to run 5,000 seat arenas for the rest of existence.
Beautiful. Huffman Estates was great. I love that. The Garden I love, because they take care of me over there. I get special treatment at the Garden.
Yep.
That's awesome for me. But you give me like a small venue where like Evolve would run, La Boom. It was a Latin nightclub. I talk about it all the time. The best wrestling venue I've ever been to was La Boom on Northern Boulevard in Queens. There's like 350 people there. There's a bar. I get a 6-pack of Modelo's and I just hammer them throughout the entire show.
Yeah, stadiums got to wait in line and everything. You spend more time just waiting to do stuff than you actually get to enjoy.
You're around people.
Yeah.
You're around all these people and they're walking and they're talking and they're eating. Can you believe
That's why you just enjoy this stuff
people
from home. Just enjoy this stuff from home, everybody. You don't need to actually go to these events.
I'm going to show you something. My studio's a disaster, but I have a TV. I'm going to show you this. It's disgusting. All right. Look at this.
Yeah, that's sexy.
Terrible. I have that TV that goes on a little mobile stand, and I take it outside to the yard. That's my pay-per-view setup.
That's the way to do it. Honestly, it's the way to do it. People who go to stadiums. I mean, I'm kidding. Go enjoy your experiences. Have your experiences, everybody.
Yeah.
But there is something cathartic about just sitting on the couch and watching this stuff and being able to just get up and get your own piece of pizza without having to first pay $18 for a slice of pizza and fight a bunch of fans for it.
And see, that's
what's the match you guys are looking forward to for that show for All Out?
I mean, MJF and Cole is going to be a fun one. I'm curious about Ospreay and Jericho for a lot of different reasons. Certainly, the announcement that he's going to be singing along to his own voice at Wembley Stadium is interesting. So good for him. He can say, "My band, played 80,000."
What a worker Chris Jericho is. He gets him
the best.
He gets himself a match against Will Ospreay, and then he gets his band booked as well for this.
And
honestly,
they're
MVP.
doing a UK tour. They're doing UK dates already, like this week. So they're doing the UK dates. He's gonna show up at Copperbox. Jericho is going to show up at that Rev Pro show almost certainly, and it's gonna be, gonna do the next day, singing and playing.
King worker Chris Jericho. I got no choice but to respect it. I'm looking forward to Stadium Stampede.
This is something Hogan could never do. Hogan couldn't even do that. He couldn't get his band Metallica. You remember he was in Metallica.
That's right.
Yeah, he couldn't even get Metallica to perform in front of 200,000 people.
That's because they were never invited to do the Super Bowl halftime show. That's the ticket right there.
That's the one right there.
I'm looking forward to Stadium Stampede to just see how they do it in the actual stadium with people, because the previous ones have the second one had people, but they filmed everything besides that, and then they just all got to the ring. Now everything, I don't know if they're filming stuff beforehand. I don't know if that's how it's going to play out and it's going to work in the similar fashion, or how they're going to be able to pull this off. So I'm looking forward to that, of just pulling that off.
I don't care what they do. If they don't give me Eddie Kingston on a damn horse, like in that video where they were talking about the Stadium Stampede drop on Fed Forever, if they don't give me Eddie on a horse, I quit. I'm turning off the show. I am boycott. I will be mad on the internet. I will.
I think Eddie should drive one of those old English cabs.
I was going to say double-decker bus.
yeah, or like a double-decker bus. I have to. I'm going to confess something. I think I've told Joel this. I absolutely hate the Stadium Stampede concept.
We have discussed.
I hate it. It's not for me. You could love it. I don't poo-poo on it. It is just, it's too much of a car wreck for me. I like my wrestling in a ring. I don't like the outside stuff too much. Sometimes it works. And then I'll say it works, but I haven't seen one Stadium Stampede that I was like, wow, that was mind-blowingly great.
Wow, the first one, maybe because the first one was pandemic and it was such a nice escape, and it was it was much needed. That was a bad week for wrestling. Longtime friend Larry Zonka passed away that week and everything. That was just a bad week. And I feel like the wrestling community lost another friend. And yeah, that was a bad week. I really like the first one, but again, the first one may have just been because it was an experience that
time.
took your mind off of things as well, with everything going on, the pandemic and friends passing away. So I remember really enjoying the first one. I can't say I went back and watched like the second one or anything. I have watched the first one before.
I understand the purpose of it. Like, I understand why people like it. It's an interesting gimmick, but like it's too much. It's too much, and it overexposes things for me.
See, that's why I'm very curious to see how they pull this one off, because the second one, because so much of it was filmed and then you fight in the arena. I remember I didn't like fully enjoy the second one, especially compared to the first one. And I like Anarchy in the arena the past couple of years as well. I'm just, if they do like the taping of stuff and then it spills into the stadium, I just wonder how they actually pull the whole thing off, because then you got a stadium full of people just sitting there watching. Watch it. And it's different than, obviously, it's different than when they were at Daly's place, because they filmed it they actually had the full stadium they could utilize that was empty. This is, they don't have an empty stadium unless you film it before the day before. And then it's like, oh, we're fighting in an empty stadium. We leave and we come back and the stadium's full now. Like, I'm very curious at how they pull this off.
Unless they just do an Anarchy in the arena, but it's more like an Anarchy in the stadium, and they're calling it Stadium Stampede. That's also a possibility.
Or, hear me out, it actually starts at Buckingham Palace, and then they fight.
And they make their way all the way there?
Yes. They fight on horseback, they fight in buggies, they fight in the double-decker bus, they fight in every, like, imaginable UK stereotype, and it's a 47-minute drive to Wembley. So there you go. There's your match right there.
Do we get an Austin Powers reference?
Oh, you bet. Everything.
Does somebody say "I'm horny, baby" or whatever his line was? Wasn't that it?
Jake Hager is going to be the one to say it. I love this. I don't even know what it is.
He's not in the match, Joel.
Not yet. There are changes coming to the card, Jeremy Lambert.
Sure.
Yeah. Can you believe that was a thing? Austin Powers? People just walking around. In the 90s, we would crotch chop and just say, "I'm horny, baby," or whatever the hell his line was.
It used to be better.
It used to be better. Yeah, now, like saying it now, like at 39, I'm like, yuck. But back then, it's like, it's the 90s. You just knew those things.
I don't know. In our line of work, it feels, no, I'm not going to finish that sentence. I'm done.
In our line of work, those messages happen a lot, Joel. We know a couple people that have sent those messages to people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. We don't need to talk about them anymore.
Is he gone? Is he erased from wrestling, or is he still around?
They all are, or if not, they're working on shadows.
Stupid boy.
Yeah,
stupid boy.
One of them just did a podcast, thinks he's coming back. So okay,
I will promise you, dude. I will promise you. Okay, there is no messages like that from me to anybody.
Very happy.
Maybe to Rich. Rich gets those very inappropriate messages.
It's an accurate statement. I send those to Rich as well.
That is a very accurate.
I need Rich to know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. My big boy. My big brother boy.
He is your big brother boy. Do I make you horny? That's what it was. Do I make you horny?
Yes. Right.
Not I'm horny, baby. Do I make you horny? I guess that's a little bit better.
Oh, man. And then, of course, who throws a shoe? That one we use now because Toni Storm is throwing shoes at people after her.
Yeah, fantastic. She's great.
Oh man,
she's great. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I wanted to get both your opinions on this about Saraya. Do you think she wins?
No,
I don't think so. No, I kind of think they keep it on Shida. It seems kind of quick to do a Shida title switch here, so I think they just keep it on Shida.
I mean, I wouldn't be against a flip-flop. You give it to her. You give her that amazing moment. She came back. She was injured. Why does she need it?
She's a heel, and she's in her home country, but she's still a heel. Like, I don't
Joel, she's English in England.
And Toni also is a heel, and she's like, she's not English. Sorry, she's
no.
Her second home is the UK. She made her prominence as a wrestler came from her time in the UK, and I think she even has UK citizenship. Like, there's a whole thing. But anyway, Toni Storm is like, I hate the UK. The NHS is garbage, and they're just like, well, don't come back. The same thing here. Saraya doesn't.
I'm looking at the chat. London will support Shida. I don't know.
I kind of think they will.
I think Saraya gets a lot of hate and for a number of reasons, but I think the fact that she had this career-ending injury and she went through this very traumatic couple of years, I could see them doing something positive.
I do agree with this statement. Division cannot hot potatoing the belt.
Yeah, the division can. Well, the division is not that great right now.
But that's the whole thing. You start hot potatoing that belt, and you have it on someone.
Do you know?
Is well respected.
I got to tell you something. I was watching Collision with Jess, and I always love watching wrestling with my wife. First of all, because I'm like slowly gaslighting her to kind of like wrestling, right? Like that's happening little by little, because like it's like my work, and like it's just constantly floating. And now my kids love wrestling, and that's like totally changed everything. My daughter demands to watch Botchamania regularly.
That's the true pro wrestling.
Yes, it is.
Okay, she loves it. I messaged the dude. I was like, my daughter is such a big fan of yours, and he was like, I can't believe that. I'm like, and I have to like censor some of it, like I got to watch it first and then skip through it. But I was watching the Willow match with Diamante. What a great smile on Willow. Right? Like, what a likable person. What a likable face. She's so happy and just positivity just coming out of her. And my wife was like, oh, I really like her. I'm like, oh, I do too. And we watched that whole match. I'm like, you know what? There's something with her. They're doing something positive.
Zarian dropping scoops that Willow Nightingale is likable. That's the biggest scoop.
But to her, like, well, to me, I know she's likable, but to my wife, she was watching. She's like, I've never gotten that from a wrestler. And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. It's rare to get that much charisma and positivity from a wrestler.
Oh, it's very infectious when Willow comes out and she's smiling, she's skipping to the ring and everything, that's what everyone says about Willow. And it is good that your wife is seemingly someone who doesn't watch his wrestling regularly, and it's picked up on immediately. And the fact that it is that immediately, it's like, wait, I could just tune in, see it, and I click with it instantly. That goes to speak to the it factor of Willow Nightingale.
Yeah. I think they have a couple key, gems in that division. I think they just need to get a little bit organized.
Yeah.
I think that's the key here. But it's the whole company
working. They're doing little things, but there's a larger picture that definitely needs some work. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about it going into All In and All Out, because again, Tony said changes are coming again to the All In card, and you got a week until the show, and you're taping 2 shows tonight, 3 shows tonight, I guess, because Rampage as well.
No, they taped Rampage last
Rampage
week.
At Collision. Okay, so they're doing 2 shows tonight, but they're doing 4 hours of television.
Wow,
it's a lot of TV taping tonight.
My last question to you guys.
That's just like Ron.
Who's in the coffin? Who's going to be in the coffin?
Oh,
Goldberg.
like popping out of the coffin.
Goldberg.
Goldberg.
He's going to headbutt himself right out of that place. Thank you, Joel.
Yes.
You got the right answer.
That would honestly be fantastic. If they do that, I'll forgive everything about this show. Every single complaint that I've ever made about AEW in history, I will forgive it if Goldberg headbutts his way out of that coffin.
It should be Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, it should be Jeff Jarrett.
But the way he gets out is with a guitar.
No, he just pops up. He sits up Undertaker style and smashes the guitar. I assume on like Darby, and that's how.
Okay, it could be. My brain just stopped. Jesus Christ. They could do Ryder, right? Doesn't he? He does the Undertaker gimmick.
Oh yeah. Well, he's doing Indiana Jones now.
Yeah, I know.
Now he's India. Well, he did Ghostbusters, right? He did Ghostbusters last weekend. Yeah. Fantastic.
It's Blue Cane.
All right.
Oh, Blue Cane, is it there?
You know what? So here's a serious answer. If you want a serious answer, Anthony Ogogo joining Mogul Affiliates. I wouldn't hate that if he's in the coffin.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
He's a UK boy.
I'm into that. Yeah.
I don't appreciate your
Grado. Could it be Grado?
Oh, Grado would be fantastic, but he's got to do something with Jarrett instead. Jarrett has
the coffin opens, the light shines. He does like a prayer. The crowd goes nuts.
I think he has to do. I think Jared has to do a segment where he announces the numbers for the he announces some like inflated stupid number that everyone knows is fake, and then Grado comes out, gives the real number, and then gets blasted by the guitar. And Jared says, "No, my number is the right number. It's the better number."
Love it.
That's the segment.
Love it.
Look at that.
All right, guys. Love you guys. This is always
thank you for your
fun for me
returning,
first thing in the
Zarian.
morning.
Appreciate.
I'll be back again.
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'll be back again.
I'm glad
Thank you, guys.
everything is good. Thank you, buddy. I'm glad everything's good.
Oh, thank you.
Everything.
Yeah, thank you. It was a scary couple of weeks, but everything is seemingly fine right now.
Good.
Good to hear.
Good to hear.
Bye, boys.
Zarian. Bye, buddy.
All right,
Miss you
care,
too.
buddy. Andrew Zarian is always fantastic.